I see love the way you move the body. I see music.
Good morning, my loves. I hope that you guys are taking care of yourselves and that you've been keeping well. I have been really caught up in just so many things that I am literally forcing an episode, like as I'm making my bed right now. I cannot keep making excuses about how I've got so many things in the way and there's just so much chaos in my life. At the end of the day, I have an obligation to the Guided Conversations community to keep producing content and, giving you guys what you follow me for, right? So I follow a lot of people that are in the space of like wellness and just like, these inspirational podcasts with like really, really great conversations and just great inspiration. And I realized, my gosh, I've got a long way to go. Like, it's one thing to create the content, but to actually live it. You know what I'm saying? Like Wale says, it's easy to dream a dream, though it's harder to live it. So yeah, I find now that I'm getting a challenge of hopela what I preach in my day-to-day life. And that's really different. Like, you try to evolve, you try to grow out of certain things, and the past comes back in different ways and forms, and you're always challenged to hold on to the better version of yourself. I have my insecurities. I look at other people's content and I'm like, yo, will I ever get there? Like, I've got such a long way to go. There's so many things that I'm doing wrong. I can't really improve because I don't really have those resources to help me improve or to be better. I don't have a team where I know someone's gonna take care of this, and I've got a specialist in graphic design, and I've got all these components that come into play when it comes to creating great content. And so as Kintigili Bees, I'm just questioning myself about all these things. I'm like, for some reason, I remember I start thinking about like things from a hater's perspective, and that's how I usually set my standard. I want to create something that even a hater can't hate on. Like, what would the conversation be, and how would I respond? Generally you don't, but there are certain things where it's like a thin line between a hater and a critic, and some criticism is necessary because it helps you to grow, whether it be in the space of content creation, whether it be you just like as an individual, whatever. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, gosh, dude, you're always creating content about like inspirational stuff, like nice fluffy things, why don't you ever talk about like other things? Like, yesterday I was in the car and I'm thinking to myself, yo, I'm really pissed off about how I've had people in my life that were never worth me. Allowing people into my life and allowing people to have access to me that didn't deserve to even be in the same space as me has cost me a lot, and it has set me back in life, right? So as I'm thinking about that, I'm just like, why don't you ever talk about that stuff? I don't like to be vulnerable. It's funny because here I am about like motivation and healing and being well and shit, but we'll get there. It's real. This shit is real. So as I'm going through it, I'm sharing it. But until we get there, I'm just going to keep inspiring people and keep helping people feel good about themselves. So I was thinking to myself, why is it all just about inspirational content? Not because I don't have my challenges or my struggles. It's actually my biggest motivation, my biggest keep going. Is I choose to look at my life from the perspective of the younger version of me, before she knew the world, before she realized how cold and how sad this shit can get. Like, yeah, it actually makes me sad to even think about it. And that's generally how I am when I really think about shit. I get like so sad. I get so sad. But I always try to hold on to the positive, and not from a forced positive mindset, but just like always having this knowing of how important it is to keep holding on to God, to keep holding on to, keep pursuing that light, keep pursuing the best possible version of yourself. I feel like we always pay attention to like negative thoughts, and how, they always tell you exercise positive thinking, don't pay attention to the negative thoughts and blah blah blah. But we're always fighting negative thoughts. Why not entertain the positive ones? Why not entertain the inspirational thoughts? Why not entertain the thoughts that spark creativity? So this is just a random conversation, not built off of a content schedule. And the only thing about it that's strategic is I cannot keep you guys hanging for too long. So I thought I'd post this episode, and yeah, I guess this is also a part of me trying to be as vulnerable as I can. I really don't like being vulnerable. I don't like people having access to things about me that I can't control, the ugly parts. Because I always try to be so well put together and just perfect and just well presented. So in this guided community space, it's like there's no room for perfection, my babe. I'm going to come to you guys as raw as I possibly can, just so that someone out there can have something to feel, something to connect to. And I'll talk to you guys soon. I love you so much. Just for subscribing. You didn't have to do that, but you did. The likes, I love you. The views from the beginning of the video all the way up to the end, I love you and I appreciate you so much. Until next time.